It's a BumbleKast Mini, sponsored by Hearts 13.
What if casting? Weird Al Yankovic as Manic the Hedgehog, both dialogue and singing. George Lopez as El Gran Gordo. Josh Brolin as Dr. Julian Robotnik, the tyrannical dictator variant of Eggman Robotnik from Sat AM / pre-reboot Archie Sonic. And Evan Stanley as Tangle the Lemur. If Ian can be Starline, then Evan can be Tangle. How well are these performances of these characters?
A Josh Brolin serious business Robotnik. So basically a Thanos, but Robotnik.
Yeah.
That's an interesting thought. I feel like that goes too hard.
You didn't need to go that hard.
It's a neat idea. I don't know how they would make the mustache work without looking hilarious. But like, it's almost imagining Thanos, but with like a nose and glasses.
You'd have to kind of do you have to do like kind of maybe like a CGI. I guess it would be like Thanos.
Thanos. Again.
He's just voicing the character, yeah.
You killed off and you respawn at the Star Post for the 7th bloody time. Where did your failures bring you? Back to me. I don't know. I think my Starline is passable, entertaining at the very least. I don't know if Evan has done any voice work. I don't know how her Tangle would be. It'd be worth listening to, see if she can give it a shot, though. I'm honestly not familiar with George Lopez's work. I know of him, but I don't know him, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
We've covered Weird Al in the previous minis. I'd be interested to see what he could do with Manic. I think he'd do at least a decent job.
Yeah, yeah. George Lopez as El Gran Gordo would be pretty funny, at least. I think as a voice, maybe. I don't know. Maybe he could do the live action version, but nah. Let's do like an animated one. I think it could work out. More multiverse shenanigans. A portal between unparalleled realities opens up and spits out Ixis Naugus, or Archie Sonic, into the Adventure Time universe. What is Naugus's opinion of the land of the wizards of this reality? Magic Man, Peppermint Butler, Ice King, Abracadaniel, ancient magi of life-giving, and Huntress Wizard. What new magics does he learn in and how does he fare in a fight against Finn and Jake?
That's funnier than has any right to be. Now, I'm not like super up to speed on Adventure Time. I've not seen all of it, but just Ice King getting aggravated with Naugus. What's the deal with you? You really have to go that hard? Come on now. What's with all the elemental magic? Why am I stuck with only ice? Honestly now. Just looking at a little Daffy Duck there.
But... A little. I mean, I guess the original Ice King kind of does.
Well, Naugus has like zero patience for the absolute absurdities of Ooh. He just wants power. And then who is this boy in this weird talking lump that's vaguely canine in appearance? They dare stand against the great Ixis Naugus, the master of the elements, and then they just like shout obscenities at him and kick him in the face. It's like fighting Sonic all over again, yet somehow even more uncouth.
Wow.
Like he's trying to crawl away and they pull him back and like spank him with a tree branch or something, and he's just mortified. Wants to go back to he'll go back to the void at this point, please.
This is literal torture. Jesus.
He's forced to bum it on Ice King's couch. Who'll forget him an ice pack?
But I see what you did there.
Oh wait, I can do that. Anything for my new bestie.
Terrible. Mr. Crocker from His Fairly Odd Parents meets Excalibur, the Soul Eater. Denzel Crocker is isekai to the Soul Eater universe, where he finds a cave inhabited by thousands of fairies. While trying to catch some of them, he discovers a magical sword and tries to pull it. Transforms into a weird cartoon critter and it talks a lot. How much of Excalibur's inane stories and 1,000 provisions does Denzel listen to before he starts making an anime cringe face in disgust and annoyance? Was, unfortunately, meeting Excalibur worth trying to capture some fairies in that cave? Or if Crocker does accept Excalibur, provisions and all, how dangerous does he become? Fool!
This is honestly one of the most inventive crossovers I've heard of, and I see where you're coming from. I definitely see the pieces fitting. Goodness, and it's a weird one. Granted, my Fairly Odd Parents knowledge is dated at best, but I would imagine Crocker's desire for power would make him power through all of Excalibur's nonsense. I think he would take the provisions at face value and actually try to follow them. And in each and every instance where it's revealed, no, Excalibur's just blowing hot air, Crocker would still somehow manage to convince himself that he's on the right track because it's going to pay dividends in the end.
See, I know nothing about either of these. So I'm out of my depth.
Absolute, base level Cliff Notes version. Crocker is a crotchety grade school teacher who actually believes in fairies and is manic about capturing the fairies that revolve around the main character.
Oh, okay.
His fairy godparents. And Excalibur is, God, how do you even describe Excalibur? Seems
to be a sword of some kind, right?
There's a running theme of living beings being weaponry. They can change shape. Their soul inhabits the weapon and imbues it with a will and power. But Excalibur is this little pointy fairy in a top hat.
Okay.
Very, very full of himself. And also very, very full of it.
I have seen this character. I didn't know what it was from or what it was called, but I've seen them.
He is a running gag that manages to not outlive its welcome. And right about the time you're done with him, they don't reference him. And then he comes back and it makes the joke good again. So.
Good. Nice. Death the Wolf from Puss in Boots: The Last Wish has come to an alternate reality of the pre-Super Genesis Wave Archie Sonic universe to reap the souls of several deceased heroes and villains. Ivor Robotnik the First, Nate Morgan, Tommy Turtle, Locke the Echidna, and King Ixis Naugus. He was probably going to die from his mutations and divided mind anyway. How do they react to finding out they died, and do they go with the living personification of death willingly, or do some of them run/fight for their non-existent lives?
Well, Robotnik, I'm going to be this level of nerd pedantic. He didn't so much die as he got erased. And I do make a distinction where death is the end of life. It is a natural progression. It's a changing of a state of being. And the ultimate annihilator ultimately annihilated him. He was just straight up atomized, undone from creation. You don't even get to be dead. You're just not. So I think death in this case is kind of looking at his list going, where is he? He's supposed to be right here. Where did he go? Where are you hiding? Come out so I may kill you. Nate Morgan, I think he'd take it gracefully enough. Tommy Turtle wouldn't be happy to go, but death is at least congratulatory. You went out like a boss. I've seen a lot of ways to go, and that was pretty good. Locke would not go quietly into the night. He'd have to be dragged away. And Death's this has been coming for you for a long time. I don't know why I came for you sooner. And Naugus would definitely fight it, and he becomes an extra conundrum because he's got 3 other souls imbued within him, and the 4th one just kind of somehow grew off of those. So Death comes for 1, and he's got a party of 4. What are you, some kind of piñata? That's okay. I brought a big enough stick.
And in alternate 2008 of our own universe, the lineup for Super Smash Bros. Brawl is different. Sonic is still in the lineup, but 5 new Sonic characters are in the game. 2 of them are from the games. The other 3 from the Archie Sonic comics. Since it's 2008, those characters are obviously pre-reboot. Who makes it into the alternate lineup of Super Smash Bros. Brawl?
Let's say Eggman from the games, because come on.
Yeah.
Still a little sad he didn't make it into Ultimate, but that's neither here nor there. And pre-reboot comic exclusives, Sally's got to be in there. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Pre-reboot.
If it's supposed to be 5 new characters beyond Sonic, then that means 2 more from the games. So Eggman, 2 more from the games. Yeah, Eggman and
toss it between Knuckles or Shadow.
Yeah.
Well, let's say Knuckles, because then Archie gets Scourge as your Echo fighter.
Sure.
I know that's more of an ultimate thing, but whatever. It's imaginary. scenario.
No. It was a thing. It's a thing going back to like Melee with Captain Falcon and Ganondorf.
Yeah, but they didn't call him Echo Fighter.
They didn't. Yeah, technically, no. Although you think Shadow would be the Echo of Sonic.
That's what I'm saying. Make Knuckles the game character, so
okay.
You don't have like 2 Echoes of Sonic running around. Because we have enough of that in the main series. Bada-bum-bum.
Yes, we do.
And Bunny.
Heck yeah, Bunny. So, Sally, Bunny, and Scourge for Archie? Yeah, I'll take it. This is 2008 after all. The Chaotix show number 3. What is the soundtrack like to this hypothetical show? Does it contain tracks from the game levels remixed in the deep cartoon style? Adventures of, Sad AM, Underground, etc. Is the intro to the cartoon a modified version of the theme of the opening menu of Knuckles Chaotix? Is it any good? Also, on a slightly unrelated note, do the Deke classic Chaotix hang out in a treehouse on isolated island with a lo-fi remixed version of Door in the Summer playing in the background on a 90s radio?
See, I'm inclined to say if they did a Deke Chaotix show, you're thinking way too authentic.
Yeah.
Like you're being way too true to the source.
Yeah. I don't think they would have any like references to the music from the games. That's the game, that's for sure.
Like Adventures of had the main title track remixed a bit, but that was it.
Even then, that's a very, that's a stretch.
So
it's more like Hall of the Mountain King than it is the Sonic theme from that era.
What did we say previously? I know it was something horrendous, like the general premise of the show. Did we basically just make it Scooby-Doo with Chaotix?
I think so, yeah. I guess it would probably be more along the lines of Adventures of or Underground's music.
So just like a bunch of forgettable synth that plays along to the action on the screen and then is done.
Effectively, yeah.
And then otherwise it's just silence in the background. The more we talk about this, the more I'm happy it's just a hypothetical.
Yeah. All right. Here's a little what-if scenario about parallel realities. And in an alternate version of the pre-SGW universe, the Overlanders, mutant humans, who were exploring space for a new homeworld after leaving Mobius, discover the Wisps before Eggman the Second. Considering the Overlanders are Robotnik's people and, as a society, have high intelligence and low morality, they use these energy aliens as a fuel supply. How do they use Wisps? What machines are the little guys used to power, and how is it different from what Dr. Eggman did to them in Sonic Colors? How do the Wisps feel about this arrangement?
I imagine it wouldn't be that different than Eggman's scheme. It's just it wouldn't be as bright or as colorful. Well, maybe the pipes are because they're pumped full of Technicolor alien souls, but the actual machinery would be rather Spartan and industrial. But they just have one big old tank of Wisps that get used to power everything. Like I don't know, maybe the ivory Wisps provide the power for the electricity. Maybe the voids run the sewer system of the ships, those poor little things.
Oh, no.
Lots of burst Wisps in the engines to make it go boom. But they're not happy. They are not happy.
No, they are not. That's why Sonic shows up. Right before the moment she accidentally created the hex, the Scarlet Witch enters the Archie Sonic universe through a random portal. Why do these things keep happening? How do the Freedom Fighters deal with the events of WandaVision, with the hex forming inside and around New Mopotropolis? In the hex is Bunny, Tails, and Amy Rose. Outside the hex is Sonic, Sally, Rotor, and Antoine.
Well, the characters weren't ever really part of a sitcom, so Wanda is basically recreating. Let's say Wanda goes into Archie Sonic. See, I was going to say Wanda shows up in modern Sonic, and the WandaVision bubble is Sat AM. Take the standard, the real world, as it were, and take it back to the older, televised incarnation. But that's not what you asked. You asked Archie Sonic. I don't know. It's kind of hard to think of the Archie cast in sitcom roles without it just kind of devolving into plug character into trope or go full adventures of with it.
Yeah. Are they all the family dog?
Oh, no. Unless she goes like real far back into some kind of like kids programming. So she's created early Sesame Street, and Bunny, Tails, and Amy are like Muppets.
Yeah.
And she's like the kindly landlady on not Sesame Street.
In a previous BumbleKast, you mentioned Sonic in an AU storyline similar to Spider-Man Life Story. Let's continue that what if. IDW publishes Sonic Life Story issues number 1 for the 1990s and number 2 for the 2000s. How old is Sonic in these issues? What games are adapted in these issues? And since this takes place in an alternate continuity, if Sega and IDW have no legal issues, but the rights to previous content from Wild Brain, Archie, and Old Rider, Sega was okay with it, eased them on the mandates a bit. Would they incorporate characters, references, and or other elements from the 1990s and 2000s Sonic animated TV series and or the Archie Sonic comics into Life Story?
I'm sorry, I have no idea what the prompt is for this. Like, when did we cover, what mini was this covered in?
I don't remember. It must have been a while ago. We've done like nearly 500 episodes of this show, and I'm like, I don't remember this.
It's fun to do, callbacks and follow-ups on ideas we riff on, but also keep in mind there can be 3 to 4 months in between recordings, and I cannot keep track of everybody's individual what if continuities for these things. So yeah, I'm sorry.
I can't remember this.
I don't know what you're asking for on this one.
It was about Sonic and the cast being adults in the games, and then I guess Life Story would be that goes back. So it's hard to remember. I don't remember this. So
what, a comic series that treats all the continuity as like an actual progression of time?
I think so. Is that what Spider-Man Life Story is about?
I have no idea.
As if they aged in real time? Okay. Yeah, if they aged in real time, yes.
Okay.
So Sonic is crushing his 30s right now.
I don't know. If presented with such a project, I would, I guess, want to try to keep it as simple as possible and do just the established timeline and game stuff right now. That would be begging for trouble, since there's kind of a sliding time scale where classic is never really going to end. There is no like dedicated bridge into modern unless you do a kind of a time skip between issues and say, well, that era of my life is behind me, now this one starts.
Yeah.
But if the concept is to take all of Sonic's adventures and actually apply real world time and progression to them, I don't think trying to incorporate every aspect of the franchise over the years and make it fit and revise it into that would, just doing that to make a new brand of Sonic that incorporates as much of the disparate material together would be a mammoth project in its own right. Trying to apply real time progression to that, I think you've managed to find a Sonic project I don't want to be a part of.
I mean, it would be difficult to even like approach that. Oh well. We do have one last question. To the pointing meme post-credit scene from the movie Into the Spider-Verse, but with 3 of the most iconic versions of Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik. The first 2 Robotniks from the first 2 90s Deke animated TV series, Adventures of and Sad AM, and the third version of Eggman from the 2014 Sonic Boom Deke animated TV series. This isn't really a question, and we can't do it, but I would like to see it.
I mean, fan artists, there's your prompt. Go nuts.
That would be funny.
I mean, I guess you've got adventures of going, who are you rapscallions impersonating me in my preponderous form? And you've got Sad I Am Eggman, who's not really so much pointing as he's got his mechanical arm up with a laser trained on him.
Yeah.
One step closer and I'll obliterate either of you. You've got Boom Eggman pointing, going, why are we pointing at each other?
What's going on? Who are you people?
What's wrong with your head? It's just like a crescent bean. It's disgusting.
Rude. You're the one shaped like a chip. Oh, man.
That's going to do us for this BumbleKast Mini, sponsored by Hearts13. If you want one of your own, head up to patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, or become a YouTube member. Be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
See ya.